As it is, a very, very good night for baseball. Let's take a look at the starters, Mackey.
For Nashville, leading off will be the shortstop, Esteban Beltre. Batting second. Second baseman, Paco Martin. Batting third, center fielder, Joe Hall. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, Drew Denson. Matt Murillo bats fifth and catches. Batting sixth, first baseman, Chris Cron. Batting seventh, third baseman, Ron Coomer. Batting eighth, Brad Cummins in right field. And batting ninth, the left fielder, Scott Tedder. For the Iowa Cubs, Fernando Ramsey leads off and plays center field. Batting second is Greg Smith at second base. Tuffy Rhodes is in left field batting third. Eddie Zambrano, the DH, batting fourth. Doug Jennings batting fifth and at first base. Tommy Shields at shortstop batting sixth. In right field, Tony Chance batting seventh. Craig Worthington bats eighth and plays third base. And catching, batting ninth, George Pedre.
For George, his first start in the series, it has been Matt Walbeck for the first 3 games, but Pedre gets the call tonight. I imagine that the Iowa catching staff, probably Walbeck needing a little bit of a breather after as many games as he's caught down the stretch.
Well, you know, it's one of those, this catching that Iowa has this year may be the finest catching collection at any level of minor league baseball that there is. Matt Walbeck and George Pedre have committed a total of 1 error each this year, and they throw out about 40 to 50% of the runners that steal against them.
Big James Baldwin about to complete his warm-up tosses. Now the Guthrie Singers with our national anthem.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad skies and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
A very good crowd is building to watch the Iowa Cubs in the American Association Championship Series. The Cubs setting a franchise record with 85 victories. What a turnaround from last year when they won 59 and lost 92. They're the umpires. Craig Compton will be behind the plate. The base paths will be occupied by Jeff Hendricks at first, Lee Prejean at second, and Orlando Gutierrez at third. And Mackey, the entire 3-game series in Nashville drew 7,165. I bet you we go over that tonight here in the first game in Des Moines.
Well, there's no question. This is, I tell you what, people have got to be, the front office with our Cubs got to be thrilled. 1984, you know, very few people showed up for the playoffs, but I tell you, there's 7 or 8,000 here already. And the thing to think about, down in Nashville, probably 3 or 4, maybe even 500 of those people that were down in Nashville were from Iowa. But, you know, one of the excuses that they could use down there is they got 2 teams playing at the same time, and both of them are in the playoffs. Well, they might be a little baseballed out down there. Ridiculous. This, you know, this is a baseball playoff atmosphere here.
Taking a look at the Iowa defense tonight in the outfield, Rhodes, Ramsey, and Chance in the outfield. The infield with Worthington at third. Tommy Shields, the shortstop. Greg Smith is at second, and Doug Jennings has done a terrific job over there, committing just 2 errors in 65 games, will be at first. George Pedre sees his first playoff action behind the plate to catch the tosses of Turk Wendell. Turk with a 10-8 overall record, but in his last 2 games, Mackey has failed to advance beyond the 3rd inning.
He has an awful lot of trouble in the 1st and the 3rd inning. I can say I don't know what it is, but the 1st and the 3rd, he gets a little rattled. If he gets through those innings, look for Turk to settle down and be just tough as nails out there. And I think the thing that we look at as he goes to the mound is about how high he jumps over there, because if the adrenaline is pumping, he may fly over probably 6 or 7 feet over the line, but he has got to get his emotions. He gets so pumped up and so worked up and has, you know, he wants to win so much and everything that he kind of loses focus of what physically he's supposed to do.
An interesting statistic about Turk is, and I find this amazing, when the leadoff man gets on against Wendell, in an inning, he scores 80% of the time. And that would just talk about that emotional makeup that you talk about. He gets overly upset with himself when something goes wrong.
He does. He expects perfection. He strives for perfection. And I don't know that anybody's ever perfect. How many perfect games have you ever seen throw? But the thing is, he gets upset with himself when a man gets on, and it's just one of those, he kind of loses it.
Now, the Nashville starter, James Baldwin, is really considered one of the very top prospects in the White Sox organization. He came out of a very small high school program in South Pines, North Carolina, and the White Sox completely overhauled his delivery. They've taught this young man how to pitch. There is no question, though, he has the physical attributes to be an outstanding pitcher.
You know, one of the things about Baldwin is as we said earlier, he's going to throw everything about 90 mile an hour, especially his fastball. He is really going to break it. That's one of the things that you can't go out and coach. It's like speed. If a guy can run fast, you know, that's now you normally can't teach him to run any faster. This guy throws at 90. Now the thing you got to do with all this power that he has when he throws the ball is contain it and bring it into a pitching position so that he can get the ball over the plate. And they've done a wonderful job with this young man.
He's done well against the Iowa Cubs this year, though he's not won a ball game. He is 0-2. However, his earned run average is 1.69. So though he is on the losing end of both decisions, he's really been tough for the Cubs to hit. On the other hand, Turk Wendell has been outstanding against Nashville this year. He is 3-0 against the Sounds with a 2.70 earned run average, making his 5th start against Nashville this season. The overall season series during the regular season, Iowa won at 10-8. There were 11 one-run games, and Iowa won 7 of those. And I think, Mackey, that tells you right there how evenly these teams are matched.
That's what we said. Marv and I talked earlier that, you know, all of these games are probably going to be well-pitched, low-scoring games. And it'll be one of those that neither manager is going to be afraid to pull the starter out if he gets in a little bit of trouble. But look for a low-scoring game. Iowa's got a chance in a low-scoring game. If Nashville jumps out to a 2, 3, 4-run lead, it could be trouble.
Tonight's game features the 1 and 4 hitters in the American Association of the just completed season. Matt Murillo for Nashville hit .332 to win the league batting championship. Carl Rhodes finished 4th at .318. In Eddie Zambrano and Carl Rhodes, the Cubs have the number 2 and 3 home run hitters in the league. Nashville has the 5th place guy in Drew Denson, and so that gives you an idea what kind of a season these clubs have had. Nashville, in winning the Eastern Division, won 81 ball games and lost 62, but really it's a continuation. The beat goes on for Nashville because this basic group, they were the White Sox Farm Club in Vancouver last year. They won 81 ball games and won the Northern Division of the Pacific Coast League. So nothing new for Nashville. On the other hand, Iowa won just 59 a year ago. This year they've won 85, and Turk Wendell completing his pregame ritual, which always includes a prayer. And now he's ready to work to Esteban Beltre, and Game 4 of the American Association Championship Series is about to get underway.
Turk needs to throw a strike right off the bat, and he's got to blow it by Beltre. And Beltre is too good a hitter. He's probably not going to sit on it.
Beltre fanned 6 times in the series. There's a line smash into the boxes behind first base.
And it took one pitch, and we've got somebody popped in the coconut right behind first base.
But vicious liner.
Yeah, but I tell you what, that's a good sign right there for Turk. Beltre had no chance with that ball, and Beltre's up there. He is such a good hitter. He's up there to swing.
Apparently that foul ball is just a glancing blow because nobody's leaving, and the lady who wound up with the baseball is smiling.
And the guy sitting next to her did not spill his beer.
And they're off to a good start. One ball, 1 strike to count to Beltre.
All right, Turk's got to get that slider. He's got a hard slider. He's got to get that, get these guys to swing at it. That's his out pitch. He can take and set him up with the fastball. He's got a good live fastball, and it moves a little bit. But his out pitch to a right-hander is that slider goes hard down and out.
Wendell with his big wad of black licorice in his gum. And it is 2-2, and Beltre is spraying the ball all over the park.
Well, and fortunately, it's outside the white lines, and that's a good sign because right now Beltre is not caught up to Turk. Turk's throwing the ball hard right now.
Beltre hit .292 in the regular season against the Iowa Cubs, playoffs included. He is hitting .344. However, just 4 of 13 in the playoff series. And again, he gets a piece of Wendell swinging behind it, and the count stays 2 balls and 2 strikes. Beltre, an American Association All-Star.
This be a good place right now Turk throw that hard slider down and out because he's throwing him fastballs. Busted down.
And it's fouled away. So Beltry giving Wendell a battle to get the game underway. Beltry came up through the Montreal organization, joined the White Sox chain in '91. This is his 3rd year on their AAA level.
George is calling for the pitch down.
And it's again flared foul down the right field line.
And Turk got it up a little bit.
So Beltry really hanging tough. He has just had a season that's seen him post career highs in runs scored, hits, doubles, home runs, and RBIs. Also stolen bases, had 18 of those. And he loops it to center. Ramsey is on the move, and there's one away. Paco Martin now comes to the plate for Nashville. He's hitting .309, 6th best in the American Association this year, 6 of 13 so far in this series.
Tell you what, Nashville has got their 1 and 2 hitters. Geez, these guys are really good. And you keep them off, and you got a chance. There's a good pitch.
Martin coming nowhere close. Martin stole 31 bases, 2nd in the league. Only Terry Shumpert of Omaha beat him. He stole 36. Oh.
There's a little pump up for Turk right there. There you see an adrenaline pitch.
Yeah, I guess so. Martin didn't see it, though. He was out of there.
I mean, I had my eyes shut when I saw it leave his hand.
1-1.
There it is.
And again, the hitter way behind the pitch from Wendell.
That's that good slider. You see George set up on the outside corner and put the glove down. That's the one he wants. He doesn't want it. Don't throw it for a strike. Start it in the strike zone. Let it break away. He'll do it again.
And Martin is nowhere close. 2 up and 2 down against Turk Wendell.
Boy, Turk, if he gets out of the inning and throwing the way he does, when he jumps the line, he may land in the 4th row of the box seats. Take a look at this. This is the last pitch. This is one of the off-speed sliders. Wow, no chance.
Joe Hall takes the first pitch high, ball 1.
See, and he'll throw that slider like that off speed, and then he'll turn around and really throw it hard. There it is.
And that slider's been very effective for Turk so far.
And he sets it up with a great fastball.
Hall in the series, 3 out of 11.
Down and out. Well, not that far.
Although that's about where it was when Martin went chasing it. So Wendell behind to count for the first time. 2 balls, 1 strike. And it's 2-2. Those people sitting in the box just behind the Nashville dugout certainly got a couple of wake-up calls.
You know, I tell you what, they got some kind of promotion going tonight with a lot of these straw hats that they're giving to everybody with the Iowa Cubs beat Nashville. I think they need some catcher's mask down there behind first base.
The straw hat, by the way, a takeoff on Nashville.
Yeah.
You're not buying into the theme, I can tell.
We certainly want to thank whoever donated those.
Nice thought.
Watch this pitch. Oops, he got it up. And you see Turk kind of flail his arms. Ooh, I didn't want to get it up.
Well, he got it back without any damage, though. Still 2-2 to Hall. Hall completing his 3rd season with the White Sox Top Farm Club. And hits this one on the line just over the glove of Tommy Shields. A 2-out single to left for Joe Hall.
He got that one up a little bit, a little outside, and Hall got it right off the end of the bat and was able to do. He's strong enough that he just barely got it over Tommy Shields. But that was a pitch he got up. Turk got up a little bit.
Drew Denson, who's hit a home run against the Iowa Cubs in this series, and in fact drove in 5 runs in a ball game, stands in. He drove in 103 runs during the regular season. That was 3rd in the American Association. Has 24 home runs. 3 of them have come against the I Cubs. He's 4 of 12 in this championship series. All 10 stolen bases on at first with 2 down. Two balls, no strikes. Kirk Wendell's received a lot of national notoriety this year, has been on the cover of the New York Times Magazine, has had stories on Current Affair today, and I understand that the Late Night with David Letterman show has contacted him. There's a poke to left, long run for Rhodes. He's not going to be able to get there. Hall is being waved around
They're
third.
sending him home.
Hall's being sent home, and a good throw will get him. Pedre with the tag. A collision, and Pedre hangs on, and he's out of there. Bang, bang play at the plate. Pedre knew he'd get belted. He did. He held on, and the Cubs are out of the first.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know what Tuffy was doing out there. He looked like he didn't play the ball real well, but once it got by him, it was absolutely picture perfect and getting the ball back in. Now watch, like I say, Tuffy looks like he's got a line on this thing out in left field. And all of a sudden it just gets over it. But now watch what happens. They've got him waving, coming around. See him waving. They're waving him home. Perfect relay. Comes in, and now you've got the collision at home. And look who's right there to help old George up. Boom, you got it. See who's right there? Watch it. Yeah. Turk says that's my man.
And that's some great camera work by our TCI crew. Nice job capturing that one from both angles. And so the runner nailed at the plate. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. Bang, bang, top of the first. We go to the last of the first, and the I-Cubs will bat against very tough James Baldwin. Baldwin with a very bright future, only 22 years of age, out of South Pines, North Carolina. He is 6'3", 210 pounds, has struck out 161 batters this year, 105 of them in the Southern League before he earned a promotion to AAA, his first stint in AAA, and you'd have to say that he has succeeded well at this level. He is 5-4 with a 2.61 earned run average, so though he's pitched well, his record isn't all that great because the Sounds haven't scored a lot of runs for him. And nevertheless, Baldwin has just had an outstanding year. The defense behind him looks like this. The outfield, Scott Tedder, Joe Hall, and Brad Cummings. On the infield, it'll be Ron Comer at third, Esteban Beltry at short, Paco Martin at second, and that shortstop second baseman combination. And that and the Iowa Cubs combination, probably the best 2 in the league. Cron will be at first, Murillo behind the plate, Baldwin on the mound.
They talk about you've got to be strong up the middle. Well, they got Murillo, who leads the league in hitting. Awful good catcher. There's a good double play combination, and Joe Hall in center field. But I'll tell you what, the one the Iowa Cubs got with Shields and Smith at second base and whoever they want to put at catcher and Ramsey in center field, that's strong up the middle too.
Yeah,
these two teams, you look at them, and boy, they just kind of mirror one another. Now, one may have better stats than the other, but the way they play and the way they get things done, they're both basically sound.
In fact, Nashville does have better stats. They led the league in hitting and pitching. The I-Cubs finished 4th. But on the other hand, Iowa won 4 more ball games than Nashville did. Fernando Ramsey opens things up. Last of the first for the Cubs. He's hitting .270. It's exactly a point away from where he wound up last year at .269.
And it's amazing how .270 looks so much better than .269.
True, isn't it? Ramsey, 39 stolen bases last year and only 13 this year. I would think if he's disappointed about anything, it would be that.
Well, plus the fact if you take a look at his stolen bases, only 13, but he's been caught 13 times also.
And it's a called strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That sounded awful fast as it went by.
Yes. This guy can bring it. Baldwin rated by Baseball America the #2 prospect in the White Sox organization. #1 is Jason Bray, and he has been with the White Sox for some time.
He started here, and I tell you what, he pitched was it 2 or 3 hitters, something like that against Iowa, and the next day he was in Chicago.
Ramsey takes the breaking pitch high. 2-2.
Tell you the interesting thing about this. You know who put this AAA team together for Nashville?
No.
Larry Himes.
That's right. Sure I do.
Who put this AAA team together for Des Moines?
Larry Himes.
Larry Himes.
Too bad Larry's not here to enjoy it.
Absolutely. Guess who, 1990 managed the White Sox AAA to a championship in the Pacific Coast League?
Of course, Larry Himes.
No,
it was Marv Foley.
Foley.
You thought you had me in a rut, didn't you?
Well, I thought you'd lost your mind there for a minute.
No, just a little stab at humor. 2-2 the count to Ramsey.
Well, the fans are into this. They are really cranked up.
I'd say so. What a great crowd. Again, tonight's crowd will exceed the 3 games played in Nashville. And it's a full count to Fernando Ramsey.
Something that's interesting with this crowd, you know, season ticket holders have the box seats, and if they don't renew for the playoffs, the fans get to buy the box seats. Every box seat is practically full. So the fans.
3-2 pitch. The appeal. He did not go around. It is ball 4, and Ramsey works Baldwin for a walk. Baldwin doesn't give up a lot of base on balls. In 69 innings, he's given up only 36.
Well, Fernando did a nice job, too, because he was behind on the count and just showed an awful lot of patience up there and drew the walk.
Greg Smith has yet to hit in the playoffs, just 1 hit in 12 at-bats with a stolen base. But as you see, he completed an outstanding regular season at .282.
He's been so solid.
Baldwin struggling with his control at the outset.
I think Marv Foley probably wants to get a run as quick as he possibly can in this, so you might see something on. You know, this is not one of those, well, we'll sit back and wait for something. No, you don't sit back with Baldwin. If you get a chance, you know, it's like in boxing. If you got him in the ropes, knock him out.
Ramsey goes with a pitch. Here comes the throw. It is not going to be close, and Ramsey has stolen a base. His 3rd stolen base of the playoffs and his 16th of the year.
Greg Smith with a 2-0 count. Pitch is up and in. It's not a good pitch for Murillo. Well, I guess it looked like it was down, but it's still not a good pitch, and that's a terrible throw by Murillo, but it's a tough pitch for him to handle. Now Smitty's up there. Smitty's got to put the ball in play to move the runner to 3rd.
And the pitch is taken tight. 3 balls and no strikes.
Now all of a sudden, you don't want, if you're, I see Marv down there. Marv's looking at him. That finger pointing, that's take.
On 3-0. And it's ball 4. So Baldwin has walked the first 2 batters that he's faced. And now he faces one of the league's better clutch hitters in Carl Rhodes, who is 3rd in home runs this year in the American Association with 30. And he was 5th in RBIs with 89. In the series, he is 3 for 12 with a home run.
A little déjà vu from last night. Campos last night, the pitcher for Nashville, on 8 straight pitches, walked the first 2 guys that he faced. Carl Rhodes came up, hit a 3-run home run. And Campos lasted about a 1/3 of an inning.
There's all this talk about the Chicago Cubs outfield being crowded with young talent. With the addition of Roberson, it is. And yet you've got to feel Carl Rhodes will get a shot someplace at making a big league roster next year.
They'd love to make him their center fielder for next year.
Rhodes takes low. Oh, what a great throw he made in the top of this inning.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it was great fundamentals out there, because Shields went out, took the relay. He got a perfect throw from Rhodes and turned around and had a perfect 1 hop to the plate. And, you know, the runner was dead.
That's how you win championships. Baldwin desperately looking for the strike zone. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, he's thrown 7 straight that at least, and probably more than that, because he threw 4 straight to Smitty and walked him. He walked Ramsey, and I forget Ramsey. He must have thrown 3 straight to Ramsey.
Yeah, I think he
did. Because Ramsey
did.
was 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So there's 7. This is 8 and 9. So he's thrown 9 straight out of the strike zone.
And that will earn him a visit from the pitching coach for Nashville.
Well,
Rick Peterson.
You saw Bullinger in there. Bully's not right. See? Bully's not right.
He's pumped up.
Yeah. Well, about the 8th inning, you won't see Bully doing that stuff, though.
Bully, by the way, has become this club's all-time save leader. Beat Laddie Renfro's record. Now he's 34 in his Iowa career. Rick Rennick, manager of Nashville, he was named the American Association Manager of the Year. I thought Marv Foley should have got it because Rennick basically took a ball club that won the championship in another league last year and brought him over here. On the other hand, Foley helped the ball club that won 59 last year win 85 this year. Strike called.
I can't disagree with you. Unfortunately, those of us who voted were not allowed to vote for anybody on our own team.
Well, then we know Nashville didn't stuff the ballot box for Rennick. They must not have voted for Foley. Two-1 to Rhodes. Knocked down by the first baseman. He will not have a play. Crone knocked it down. That is all he could do with it, and the Cubs have loaded the bases to start the ball game.
I don't know if he'd have had a play anywhere, and it's ruled a base hit.
Designated hitter number 25.
Ramsey at third, Smith at second, Rhodes at first, and Eddie Zambrano, who is the league's MVP, comes to the plate. Zambrano finished 7th in hitting, 2nd in home runs, 1st in runs batted in. He is 2 for 12 in this series. What a year by the MVP. Ball one.
Well, you got to get something out of this because Baldwin's too tough. You cannot let him get off the hook.
Of course, the danger for Baldwin, struggling as he is to put something fat up there. And if so, you'll have to start ducking in the Cubs club. And he got under it just a bit. Coomer's got room. 1 out. You hit him that high, Mackey. Just another fraction of an inch. It could have gone a long way.
Absolutely. He just cut it just a little bit. He drops down and just gets under it. Oh, he wants it so bad and gets it off his fist. Eddie would love to have that pitch over with.
Yeah, I think he liked that one.
Now you have coming up what I think is the number 2 MVP on this team. This team has really done a wonderful job when he's been here. And, you know, they took off at the beginning of the year when he was playing first base. He goes to the big club. They go a little bit into a funk, and he comes back in August, and this team just takes off and runs away with it.
And
finally.
He's swinging a hot bat, 7 hits and 12 at-bats in the series. Strike one. Baldwin took way off of that one. A lot of speed off that one and really had Jennings out in front of it as he threw the changeup.
That's one of those you look at 92, 93 all the time, then he throws 180 and it feels like it's coming up there at about 20.
Yeah, it looked like about 20. It's one of those you say, give me a bat.
Well, no, I don't want one.
Not against this big guy.
No, it's this figure of speech.
1 ball, 1 strike. Craig Compton took a long look at that one before he ruled it a ball.
Pretty good umpiring crew out here. They've picked the best 4 in the league in their mind, and we've got 3 crew chiefs out there right now. And like I say, this is the cream of the crop for umpiring.
Of course, for most of the regular season, a 3-man crew, but for the championship series, it's back to 4. And Baldwin makes a tough pitch on Jennings and is ahead in the count, 1-2.
That pitch down and in. That's normally a pitch that a left-hander wants to hit, but unfortunately it starts where he wants it but doesn't end up there.
Ramsey at third, Smith at second, Rhodes at first. 1 out. Bottom of the first, no score. And it's fouled back to the screen, and so the count's still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tommy Shields in the on-deck circle. Shields and Jennings, between them, 14 base hits in this series. Jennings 7 of 12, and Shields even hotter, 7 of 10. So right now they are really providing the big punch in the Iowa offense. Swing and a miss. Inside on the fist. Jennings goes down. First strikeout by Baldwin, who loaded the bases and has come back to get Zambrano to pop up and Jennings to strike out. He's now an out away from getting out of this inning unscathed, and Tommy Shields, Iowa's hottest here in the playoffs, coming up.
Whatever Rick Peterson went out and told Baldwin, he probably should record it and use it again, because so far it's worked.
He's got that kind of magic. He should be in Chicago trying to help the White Sox win a division title. Shields 287 for the regular season. And actually the playoff heroics by Shields just a continuation, because in the last several games of the season he was 20 for 45. And Baldwin once again behind in the count, 2 balls and no strikes.
Now you got to sit back. You know, if you're going to swing at something, it better be right down the heart of the plate. Make sure you get something you know you can do something with it. Drive it.
And he drives it long
Like
to
that.
left field. If it stays fair, it's going to be out of here, but it will curve foul. Boy, he hit that one a mile. Wow.
As I said, make sure you can do something with it. Boy, did he. I don't know that he'll see that pitch again. Oh, he says, oh.
Slicing all the way.
Hey, that damaged some cars out in the parking lot.
Well, I'm guessing. Bases loaded, 2 down. 2-1 the count to Shields.
Now you can't get anxious up there as a hitter.
And he takes, and it's 3-1.
Here again, you better have a pitch that's right down the heart of the plate that you know you can drive, because you don't want to get something that you have to do anything, because you can waste a pitch as a hitter.
And there's a shot deep to left field. This ball is going to stay fair. It is gone. A grand slam homer for Tommy Shields.
Tommy Shields just sat up there and waited for the pitch that he knew he could do something with. He tried it 2 pitches before, hit it over there in the parking lot, but he hit it foul. All of a sudden he gets the same pitch, and I'm sure his eyes were about the size of saucers up there, and just blew it out of this ballpark.
10th home run of the year for Shields, a grand slam.
Kaboom, as they say on the scoreboard, and Tommy had a good idea at this point, and everybody had a good idea, and that thing cleared the Cub Club.
Chance takes ball 1. It was tight.
When Iowa did something there, they almost left the bases loaded with nobody out and didn't do anything. And now they've done some severe damage.
After losing the first game of the series 12-3, the Cubs are on fire. And you know, you look back, the last 26 games of the year, including the playoffs, Iowa won 18 of them. So a terrific finish. And the momentum is still with this ball club. 1-1 pitch to Chance, bounce to the shortstop Beltry. And the side's retired, but not before Tommy Shields empties the bases with a grand slam. 4 runs, 2 hits, no errors, no one left. After 1, Cubs 4, Sounds nothing. Just a great night for baseball. 74 degrees at game time, light southerly breeze, a most comfortable evening. Next game of this championship series tomorrow night, same time, 7 o'clock. And there's ball 1 to Matt Murillo, who led the American Association in hitting in the past season. Murillo hitting .332.
And quite honestly, he had the average all along, but he didn't qualify. Boom. Didn't qualify for the at-bats until the last game.
Smith throws out Murillo, 1 gone. How do you think Turk Wendell will react to this 4-0 pad?
He may throw one so hard it may knock Pedre into the backstop.
He likes it, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Chris Cron comes on. Ball 1. Cron hit .257 in the regular season, but it's hit .281 against Iowa. However, he's tailed off in the playoffs, just 1 of 11. Turk's throwing strikes. The Sounds are going up there swinging.
Well, it's tough not to swing at the strikes up there. The problem is Turk is throwing so good, and his ball's got so much good movement right now that these guys can't put any good lumber on it.
Except for that one. He put some lumber on that one and hits it to the fence in the left field corner.
That's called hanging.
Cron will hold it first with a long single because Tuffy Rhodes plays it well out of the left field corner.
Turk gets one of those, and every now and then he'll throw so hard that his ball has got to have some movement on it. And he'll throw it so hard, it just flattens out. It may come in at 90-some mile an hour, but it comes in there flat. Now, you can't do that with good hitters. And that's what just happened right there. Cron just ripped the ball in the left field. Tuffy did a nice job to hold him to a single.
Ron Coomer at the plate's had a terrific year. Was hitting .324 in the Southern League. Birmingham when he got called up to Nashville, and it just continued to hit that well on this level, hitting .313. 1 of 11 in the series. 1 on, 1 out, top of the second on the Shields grand slam. The Cubs lead 4-0. Back out of play, third base side.
And as they call the new Seth Taylor Stadium, Souvenir City.
And the people just continue to arrive. This is just an overwhelming crowd.
It's amazing. You know, you just really got to be excited to see this many people come to the ball game tonight.
1-1 pitch. Coomer way behind it. 1-2.
It's not as if there was anything else going on today.
Football games in Ames and Des Moines. Des Moines Buccaneers opening their exhibition season this weekend, but the baseball fans have turned out in full force. 1-2, could be 2. Shields, Smith, Jennings.
And there's Turk with about an 8-foot jump over the line.
No runs and a hit, nobody left on base. Into the last of the second this game goes, with the Iowa Cubs doing very well on defense. A couple of big plays, that double play, and also a throw out from the outfield, and of course the big blow by Tommy Shields. And Iowa leading by a score of 4-0.
Pretty good meal tonight before the game.
Tell us about it, Mackey.
Well, Martha Reuter, who she's in charge of the works for the diner, and the diner does all the catering up here. And tonight they provided the pregame meal, and you know, it was just a little snack, you know, shrimp, steak, baked potato. It was great. Baked potato, salad. Couldn't be better.
Served on china with linen napkins. It doesn't happen that way every night at baseball press boxes, I will tell you. The San Francisco Giants trying to hang on to their National League West lead when they wrap up their 4-game series with the St. Louis Cardinals tomorrow in San Francisco. And you can see it right here on the Iowa Cable Network starting at 3 o'clock. Worthington, Pedre, and Ramsey to face James Baldwin in the second. Baldwin, wildness in the first, walked the first 2 batters. Rhodes got on with an infield single. Baldwin came back to get Zambrano to foul out and Jennings to strike out. But he couldn't get past Tommy Shields, who hit one out of the ballpark foul and the next one out of the ballpark fair. And the Iowa Cubs lead 4-0. Iowa enjoying their first division title since 1973, when ironically they were the White Sox top farm club, and now they're playing the White Sox top farm club in this American Association Championship Series. Craig Worthington hit .273 for the regular season. He is 1 of 10 in the playoffs. Worthington a .310 road average, a .232 home average.
Go figure in this ballpark.
Craig has spent all year trying to figure. It's really a contrast in these two ball clubs, Mackey. You look at the home and road records. Nashville 48-24 at home, 33-38 on the road. On the other hand, the Iowa Cubs almost mirrored 42-30 at home and 43-29 on the road. Oh, what an effort by Cron. Didn't get there, but he made a great effort at it.
Good play. Real good play over there. Almost got a couple of the guys on the grounds crew almost got a camera over there, and fortunately Cron didn't get it, but he made an extremely good effort.
So it's a ball and a strike to Worthington. Another look at this effort by Chris Cron.
Look at him. He's got it eyeballed.
And back we go live. The ball hit to Beltry. He throws it over to Cron, and Worthington is retired. One away in the second inning for George Pedre. Pedre seeing his first action in the playoffs. Matt Walbeck caught the first 3 ball games. Pedre has been slumping late in the year. 4 hits in his last 41 at-bats over an 11-game stretch. That resulted in Pedre's average tailing off at the end of the year, and he wound up at .211 in 68 ball games. I'll tell you what, his value to the ball club cannot be measured just on his stats. He's got this one a long way deep to left field. That ball is way back there, and it is caught right against the fence by Scott Tedder. Pedre gives it a ride, flies out to left field. But Mackey, he certainly has been a major influence on Matt Walbeck.
Oh, there's no question about that, Larry. George is a veteran that's been in here, and Matt's the young kid coming up. A lot of times you might think there's a little animosity between the young kid taking the veteran's job over here. But these two guys have worked together so well, and they learn from one another. Matt gives an awful lot of credit to George Pedre on what he has helped him in his catching and handling pitchers.
Strike one to Fernando Ramsey. 2 gone, last of the second.
Yeah, he couldn't believe it either. That he swung at that.
I can't either.
see the C on the hat? I think it was over there.
Yeah, Baldwin's such a quick worker. I wonder if you don't even really have time to get adjusted. And so many times he gets the ball, and he came back with that first pitch very quickly after the one before it. With the speed of Ramsey, he might make this one closer than some guys might. He does, but a good job by Martin to throw him out, and it's a 1-2-3 second inning for Iowa. Nothing across, and after 2 in Game 4, the American Association Championship Series. It's the Cubs 4 and the Sounds nothing. After 2, this huge crowd has seen Iowa jump to a 4-0 lead on the first inning grand slam by Tommy Shields. Turk Wendell, Iowa's pitcher, going for his 11th win of the year.
This is a key inning for Turk because you take a look at his numbers in the first and the third are just ugly innings for him as far as giving up runs. He got out of the first inning, cruised in the second inning. Now you got to see what he does here.
Brad Cummings hit .266 for the season, 200 against the Iowa Cubs, and is 4 of 11 in the playoffs. Cummings pops it up. Wendell calling for it himself. But then he's going to be called off by Pedre.
Well, just nice job, Turk. Stay out of the way.
I think Pedre told him that.
Brad Cummings is on one of those Johnny Bitch things. Here we get another look at this. George has got it, and Turk's trying to do something. He gets the umpire out of the way. He's, well, okay, I'll just be there. But Johnny Bench has got that program on ESPN where you make the call and this type of thing, and they show the player who catches the home run or catches the ball and flies over the center field fence and lands on the backside of the fence. That's Brad Cummings.
That's right.
Cleveland Indians.
1-1 to Scott Tedder. Strike call, 1-2.
Brad Cummings from the same hometown as the late Larry Cox that managed here.
Lima, Ohio.
Lima, Ohio. Ooh, that's a good pitch. That's one of those where you want him to swing. 2
balls, 2 strikes. Wendell has given up 3 hits, but no runs. And is just topped. Wendell slides to one knee to make the pickup, and they're 2 gone.
He's a treat, isn't he?
He is.
Your attention, please.
If there's a way to do it with a flare, number 11 will find it.
There is nothing easy about whatever Turk does. Okay, he gets the stop. Zip over to first base. A lot of pitchers may have picked that ball up and just tagged the runner out.
Nah, not Turk.
How's that Frank Sinatra, do it my way?
And he does hit his way.
And no one else can do it that way either.
And no one else would want to. Esteban Beltry with strike one to him. Now pitch outside, and it's 1-1. Beltry flew to center his first time up. Beltry named the shortstop on the American Association All-Star team. Taps it towards Smith. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Wendell and the Cubs.
Took to be tough now. He's got past his problem innings.
The last two outings, he has not made it through the third, but he has done that now, not giving up a run, leading 4-0 as we go to the last of the third inning. And Turk, of course, will go find the toothbrush, get some of that black licorice out of his teeth, and get ready to pitch the fourth inning. As we go to the last of the third, still 4-0 in favor of the Iowa Cubs. Now, here we are watching baseball, and of course the football season is well underway. Lots of college football played today, and week 2 of the National Football League season coming up. And it'll be an interesting matchup between the Raiders and the Seahawks. That'll be the featured game on TNT tomorrow. You can see it live from Seattle, starting at 7 o'clock on TNT and TCI. That's the Raiders and the Seahawks in what might be this year's best division in the National Football League, the American Conference Western Division.
Well, and in my opinion, and I think possibly yours, probably the best team in all of football in that same one. That little outfit down the road a couple hundred miles. Where is Joe Montana?
In Kansas City.
Kansas City.
And San Diego's solid in that division. The Raiders were impressive in beating the Vikings last week. Don't want to leave out the Denver Broncos. John Elway likes his head coach now. And they beat division number 1.
Why is it the NFC always wins the Super Bowl?
I don't know. But back to baseball. Smith, Rhodes, and Zambrano will bat against James Baldwin in the third. It's a best-of-7 series. That's what makes this such a pivotal game for both ball clubs, with Iowa leading it 2-1. 3-1 is tough to come back from, and it's also tough to blow. Not that it hasn't been done. Hit that one too hard.
Yeah, had to get it by the pitcher. And that was one of those, it was a good thought up there, but he needed to bring it just a little bit more towards second base, make the second get it by the pitcher, and let the second baseman make the play on it. But they're thinking, they're trying to get on base.
Carl Rhodes picked up from Omaha on July the 30th. It was last week's American Association Batter of the Week. He wound up the regular season with a .385 week, which included 5 doubles, a homer, 9 runs batted in, and 8 runs scored.
It was a great year.
And that was a week. For the season, he led the league in runs scored with 112. Third in homers with 30, fourth in average with 318.
That's a good career. Well, I'll tell you what, when he was with Omaha, he just killed Iowa. Just absolutely killed them. Then all of a sudden they make that 3-way trade with Assenmacher going to the Yankees, and who's it?
John Habian.
John Habian going to Kansas City, and all of a sudden Tuffy Rhodes is at Iowa, and the people in Omaha were just sick. Although there was plenty of smiles on this side of the Missouri River.
And maybe the race started to end that day, at least as far as Omaha's participation in it.
Well, see, Iowa had lost Kevin Roberson about that time, and that was a big loss offensively. And here again, this is when Iowa was kind of floundering around, and the lead got down to a game and a half, and all of a sudden you just added instant offense with Tuffy Rhodes.
Zambrano fouled to third his first time. Runner goes with a pitch. Here comes the throw. Rhodes with the slide, and he's in there.
Just not very good throw, but a great play out there by, who took it, the second baseman?
Martin.
Paco Martin. Throw's not very good.
No, he did make a great effort.
Yeah, Paco Martin makes a good play, and Tuffy almost slides over the bag, but his foot stayed there.
So Rhodes in scoring position with 1 down. Zambrano ahead in the count, 1-0. 1-1.
You don't think Eddie doesn't want to make up for that bases loaded pop-up?
He got a pitch he wanted and just got under it. Outfield straight away for Zambrano, who hits with power to all fields. Two and one. Baldwin, normally an outstanding control pitcher and a strikeout pitcher, has struggled with his control. He has already walked 3 and has struck out only 1.
I think there's your key right there. 3 walks and a strikeout. This is a guy that should have those reversed, and he's in trouble. It's stuck 4-0 right now.
2 and 2. Doug Jennings in the on deck circle. Well, you look at here on this beautiful night in the championship series and the diamond looking so great, almost hard to remember what was happening back in July when this ballpark was underwater and the city was underwater and people were homeless and without water.
Well, everything you see right there on that picture, with the exception of the infield, was underwater.
What a job the city has done to come back. What a job the people here did to bring the ballpark back. An amazing story. And as Sam Burnaby, the general manager of the Cubs, says, it is only fitting that this ball club would play so well and reward the people for the tough summer that we've all suffered through. 2-2 pitch, and it's chopped to third. Tough play for Coomer, but he's got time to make the putout. And holding at second is Carl Rose.
First baseman.
Coomer makes it look easy over there, though.
Doug Jennings fanned with the bases loaded his first time up. Jennings came out of high school, about 5'9", 165 pounds, and they told him he was too small, he'd never make it. Went to junior college, hit the weights, and has wound up putting in 5 years in the big leagues, mostly with Oakland, playing in a World Series. Surprised a lot of people.
Got forearms on him that he looks somewhere between Popeye and a blacksmith.
Yeah, but didn't have him coming out of high school. He got to the weights in junior college, and boy, it made all the difference in the world. In fact, he's talked about appearing on TV in the World Series and all of a sudden getting all these calls from his friends back in Tallahassee, Florida, and said, "You weren't that guy we played Little League ball, were you? That scrawny kid?"
Yeah, the scrawny kid that got a base hit in that World Series as a pitch hitter.
And that was his only at bat, so he has a 1,000 World Series average. Baldwin missing upstairs has gone to 3-0 on Jennings.
You know, I'm looking at this crowd out here. We've got 8,000. At least.
It's an easy 8.
And it may be even 9.
And again, this 3-game series in Nashville drew 7,165 for the 3 games. And that one sails on Baldwin, and on 4 pitches, Jennings is walked.
Guess who that brings up?
4th walk against Baldwin, and here comes the pitching coach, Rick Peterson. And Tommy Shields, who emptied the bases with a grand slam his last time up, comes to the plate. Well, the last time Peterson visited Baldwin, he got the next 2 batters and was then a batter away from getting out of the inning, but Shields made him pay for loading the bases by parking one into left field. Tommy Shields 8 of 11 in this playoff series with 6 RBIs. Strike one.
That's a beautiful thing about this Iowa lineup. It's so strong from top to bottom. We talked about Eddie Zambrano that, you know, has struggled a little bit in the last few games in the playoffs. You know, here's Tommy Shields has just picked him up.
You have some veterans on your ball club, that can happen. Shields is a veteran.
I think we've got a ball inside the scoreboard room.
Shields, a couple of stints with Chicago, one to open the year and one for a week in June. It was his second major league stint. It also played some in Baltimore in '92. And he's down, no balls and 2 strikes. Shields, Iowa's hottest hitter over the last 3 weeks, not just in the playoffs. Had to sit down a couple of days late in the year with an injury, but it has not cooled him off. Oh-2, and he hits this ball to right center field. Coming on is Comments. And the side's retired. No runs, couple of walks by Baldwin, but this time they do not haunt him as both are left on. And after 3, game 4 of this championship series, the Cubs on the Shields Grand Slam continue to lead the Sounds 4-0. Turk Wendell works into the 4th inning, and first ball hitting, Martin grounds it to Shields. And since giving up a 1-out single to Cron in the 2nd, Wendell has retired the next 5 batters to face him, and no one's hit the ball out of the infield. Joe Hall to the plate. Singled and then was thrown out when Denson, doubled to left center field, was thrown out at the plate as he smacked hard into Pedre, and Pedre hung on. That's about as big a collision as I bet it's been seen here this year.
There's no question about that. Last year, I know Rick Wilkins, when he was catching here, had 2 like that in 1 inning. But Wilkie used to be a linebacker in college, you know, and he kind of liked it. I don't know that George enjoyed it so much, but he sure as heck enjoyed the result.
Well, it was a playoff type collision, no question about that. Maybe not seen anybody going that hard in the regular season. For Turk, his 2nd strikeout.
Well, this crowd is into it tonight. They are cheering every pitch.
And if the Cubs win tonight, they would really be into it tomorrow night, because that could be for the championship. It's a best-of-7 series. The Cubs lead 2-1.
You know, with Sunday night, no football other than NFL. The game starts at 7 tomorrow night, everybody. It is a 7 o'clock game tomorrow night, not 6. If they win tonight, how many people will you think will be here tomorrow night?
Yeah.
If they put 8,000 or 9,000 in here tonight.
Drew Denson doubled his first time up. He's had a terrific year. Hits this one down the right field line. Long run for Chance, but he's going to get there. And Turk Wendell is now retired 7 in a row. Back-to-back perfect innings for Turk Wendell. Middle of the 4th. Cubs hold on to a 4-0 lead. Again, the game tomorrow night starts at 7 o'clock. That would be game 5. Game 6 and 7 would be Monday and Tuesday at 7 o'clock.
Tell you what, you've got to come down and watch this, because it's well, it's been 20 years since an Iowa team has won a division championship. It's been since 1984 since they've been in a playoff. You know, they got a chance to win the whole thing. You could be down here and watch history making, because it may be 20 years before it ever happens again. It doesn't happen that often in AAA baseball.
In fact, since 1985, Iowa was the last team to have won a division championship. Denver had won 3 in that stretch. Several other teams have won 3, but Iowa the only one without a division title until this year. The division-leading Chicago White Sox continue to build up steam as they head for the American League Championship Series. See them take on Tony La Russa's Oakland A's Friday, September 17th on WGN.
Boy, can you believe Oakland 30 games under or something like that?
But they did have some losses. They trimmed the payroll, and it hurt.
Well, and they were told to. The front office was told by the owners that beef it up last year, which they did, and hopefully try to win it all, which they didn't. So, a lot of these free agents are going to go elsewhere.
What a year for that man, Marv Foley, and what sweet retribution, because it was the White Sox that fired him in the middle of the season in '91 after he had led the White Sox top farm club in Vancouver to a Pacific League title in '89. When Larry Himes got to the Chicago Cubs, when he switched offices to the north side, he remembered the job that Foley had done. Tony Chance, who caught the last ball in the top of the inning, comes to the plate.
Here's a guy that's just been so steady all year. He's at times been a starter, at times has been a pitch hitter, at times has had to sit 3 or 4 days without even playing. But boy, when he gets out there, he has really put some really good numbers on the board. And as nice a guy as you'd ever want to meet.
He really is. And in fact, this .292 average is his best full season average in a career that is now in its 10th season.
What do you think about this team? Last year, Tony Chance was the MVP on this team. Now he's having a difficult time starting.
Cubs signed him as a free agent last season, hit .270 last year.
There's a guy that's such a quality guy that if and when his playing career is over with, somebody better grab him up and make him a scout or a coach.
Of course, he's a second-generation baseball player. His dad, Bob, played with the Indians and Senators and Angels. Chance has been around this game since 1983 and has yet to bat in a big league ball game. Well, you root for nice guys who hang around that long to get the opportunity, don't you?
You sure do, and like I say, they just don't come any nicer than Tony. He's just a swell guy.
Yeah. And you're pretty swell yourself,
just
Mackey.
a swell guy.
Second strikeout by Baldwin, and it brings Worthington to the plate. I tell you, Turk Wendell throwing strikes, and Baldwin, for the most part, normally is a strikeout pitcher, and he's really struggled finding home plate tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The strikes that Turk have thrown have resulted in an awful lot of ground balls. That's good.
Worthington hits it straight into the ground. Cron to Baldwin. 2 gone. George Pedre completing his 2nd year in the Cubs organization after coming up through the Royals chain. You mentioned that Matt Walbeck had caught the first 3 games in the series. Pedre's had some tendonitis problems in his right elbow, his throwing elbow, late in the year, and that's really curtailed his playing time.
I can say the amazing stat with all the action that the catchers are in. George Pedre has committed 1 error this year. Matt Walbeck has committed 1 error, and both of the errors that they committed have been throws to second base on stolen bases.
That's amazing.
It's just phenomenal. It really is.
One offering to Pedre, and he's down 1-2. Probables for tomorrow: left-hander Jimmy Williams for Iowa, right-hander Steve Schrenk for Nashville. Williams 5-3 in the regular year. Schrenk 6-8. By the way, when Bill Brennan was called up by Chicago, the Iowa Cubs got Derek Wallace from Orlando. You may recall he was here briefly in June. The thought is that if a game 6 is necessary, Wallace would be the starting pitcher in Brennan's spot.
Then I think game 7 they may start Traxel or Ilsley followed by Staff.
Well, Ilsley and Trax a pretty good 1-2 punch to begin with. 2-2. Baldwin comes in that close. I don't want to be any place around.
No.
2-2 pitch, loop to center field, long run for Hall, and going out the shortstop Esteban Beltre, and it's Beltre who makes the play. Nothing across for the Cubs in the 4th inning. So far, the only mark on the board put there in the first inning by Shields' grand slam. And after 4, it's Iowa 4 and Nashville nothing. Beautiful night, a Saturday night in Des Moines in September. And a terrific crowd has come out to see the first game that Iowa hosts in this championship series after the Cubs won 2 out of 3 in Nashville. The league's batting champion, Matt Marullo, leads off the 5th inning against Turk Wendell. Wendell's retired the last 7 batters to face him. Only one of those has hit the ball out of the infield. Jennings will take it, 1 gone.
Boy, so far Turk has really been sharp. He took in against Denson. He got a pitch up in the first inning for a double, but they're fortunate enough to get the play at the plate and no run scored. Well, boy, since that time, ground outs, and a couple of strikeouts.
Cron, first ball hitting. The shortstop Shields is there. 2 up, 2 down.
2 pitches.
9 in a row put down by Wendell.
Turk is really, like I said, really throwing well right now. I see Tommy Shields with a good play over at shortstop. Has a tough time. It's a little soft over there, but comes up over the top and throws the ball. If he tries to throw that sidearm, that ball's going to tail on him, and Jennings is not going to be happy over it first because that ball is liable to tail into the runner. So when you pick that ball up deep over there, come up over the top when you throw it.
Coomer grounded into a double play his last time.
And in this whole inning, that's the first ball the Turk's thrown.
And it's the 3rd pitch he's thrown. And this one's rocked to center field. Ramsey going way back. And that ball is out of here. Barely clears the fence in center field. Towering home run by Ron Coomer. And Ron Bonnet, our center field cameraman, ducked out of the way as Coomer hits his 14th home run of the year. And it is now a 4-1 ball game.
Take a look at the location on this pitch. This is one of those that's probably about waist high and down the middle of the plate. And when you do that at this level of baseball, it's going to fly out of there. Now, what Ron needs to do out there in center field is catch that.
Cummings first ball hitting. Shields to Jennings, and the side is retired.
So 2 mistakes for Turk so far in this game, a double and a home run.
And the home run in this inning, 1 run, 1 hit, and nobody left on base. Middle of the ball game, there's the Lions score. The Cubs have made those 2 hits count because one of them was Shields' grand slam. And they lead the Nashville Sounds by a score of 4-1. Sunday night's ESPN baseball telecast is an American League contest between the Oakland Athletics and the Baltimore Orioles. Join John Miller and Joe Morgan for this ESPN exclusive tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on ESPN and TCI. And Baltimore right in the thick of things in the American League East.
They were my pick at the beginning of the year to win that American League East. And there for a while, I thought I might have been just a real idiot there. But they've, of course, a lot of people still think I still am an idiot. But
they're wrong, Mackey. We know better.
No, I'm a pure idiot is what it amounts to. But I'll tell you the thing that Baltimore has needed all year long, and that's their pitching staff to get cranked up. And right now their pitching is doing extremely well. They've had some offense, and they've got awful good defense. But what a race that one is, and what a race over in American League West or National League West.
Yeah, how about that?
Giants lose today.
I think the Braves with their pitching staff have got them now. What do you think?
Tell you what, that's one of those where what is it? Satchel Paige says, "Don't look back. Somebody may maybe fall on you." Whoops! You might want to look ahead because they may be ahead of you now.
That's true. Marv Foley paces the third base coaching box as the Cubs have the top of the order up in the 5th against James Baldwin. Baldwin, normally an outstanding strikeout pitcher, has fanned just 2 Iowa batters so far. He's normally a good control pitcher, but not tonight. He's walked 4. It's just not been a good night for Baldwin. Although after the first inning, he has put the Cubs down without a base hit, just a couple of walks. Ramsey walked and stole a base in the first, grounded to second in the second. Now 6-for-17 in the championship series with 3 stolen bases. Nashville 81-62 ran away with the Eastern Division, won by 10.5 over Buffalo. This ball popped out of play. Nashville really pulled away in August. They were 18-11 in the month of August. It had been a close race till the end of July, but then Nashville really established some dominance in the last month.
Well, but other than Oklahoma City with their record in the West, take a look at what Omaha and New Orleans have done. And New Orleans played great baseball in August. They were like 20-8 in August and couldn't gain anything. So Iowa played extremely well when they had to.
Cron makes the play. 1 out in the 5th for Greg Smith. In fact, New Orleans was the only team that Iowa did not have a winning record against this year.
Nando, you see that pitch? He gets it off his fist, pops it up over there to Cron at first base. And like I say, that's one of those, Nando, I'm sure he wishes he could have that one over again.
Little soft line drive to Martine. Smith is retired, 2 down in the 5th, and Carl Rhodes has been on twice with a single and a walk, has scored a run and stolen a base. Will come on.
Well, this is something, you know, the way this game is progressing. Baldwin, such a good pitcher, and quite honestly, since the second inning, he has been marvelous out there. But he made the mistakes in the first inning. You've got to capitalize on it. Iowa has. We said it probably was going to be a low-scoring game, and now we're 4.5. We're halfway through the game, and it's still 4-1. It has turned into a pitcher's battle.
And Rhodes hits a line drive to Martine. Martine spears that one a lot tougher than the one that Smith hit. And the Cubs are out in the 5th, nothing across, and now Baldwin is retired 7 in a row and has not given up a hit since the first. But that second hit he gave up in the first was a grand slam, and that gave the Cubs 4. Cubs 4, Sounds 1 through 5. Nashville looks to send in some reserves, judging by the
help is on the way.
Lights. Yeah. Scott Tedder leads it off with the Sounds, who trail 4-1 in the top of the 6th inning against Turk Wendell. Wendell, 2 strikeouts, no walks. Strike called, 1-1. Only a home run by Coomer last inning has prevented Wendell from being perfect through the last 3. Ramsey, long run. He's going to get there with that terrific world-class speed that he possesses. Not every center fielder in the league would have reached that one.
No, Nando's got great speed out there, and he really does a nice job left to right out there and coming forward. He has a little problem going back to the wall, but in this case, he's got a flat-out good run. You can just get those wheels rolling out there, and he makes the catch.
Beltry, 0-for-2 tonight, 4 for 15 in the series. And Ramsey won't have to go quite as far for the second out of the inning.
Tell you, one of the big keys with Nashville is their 1 and 2 batters, Beltry and Martine. Take a look where they're at right now. They're 0 for 5 right now and have not been on base. Keep those guys, he and his buddy, their Martine coming up the bat, keep them off base, and I tell you what, you got a chance.
Boy, you do. Beltray and Martine, a terrific shortstop second baseman combination. Not only in the field, but at the plate. Martine, in fact, 6th best hitter in the league at .309, but 0 for 2 tonight. Strike called. And the Cubs 6, Zambrano, Jennings, and Shields against James Baldwin. Just a perfect night for baseball. And as far as I'm aware, the forecast for tomorrow night is the same.
One would hope so. We've had enough of that rain stuff.
1-1. Mac, I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, but how did you feel about the major league owners going to 3 divisions for next year?
I don't mind it so much. I think it's interesting. I guess you know, if you like what they do in the NBA and if you like what they do in the NFL, they now are doing the same thing in Major League Baseball. I don't think it's that bad a move. I'll tell you what it does do. It takes some teams like Atlanta. When you got Atlanta in the Western Division and Cincinnati in the Western Division, they're in the Eastern Time Zone. I mean, at least it makes some reasonable division amongst the teams.
You being the purist you are, I'm really surprised you're so liberal on that view.
Like I said, I don't mind that so much.
Smith, terrific play behind second to throw out Martin.
They do the basic things. They get the basic outs and they make it look basic, but that's a tough play.
And now let's answer tonight's
Greg Smith made it look fairly routine.
It's a tough play. We'll get another look at this. Ball's outside, and Martin does a good job of taking it to right field. Oh, look at this. Just a little old casual flip over there, getting by a step. What the heck? Like I say, you get to this level, this is not that far away from the big leagues, and some of the stuff, that's a 4-3 put out in the book. That's a great play to see it in person.
Yeah, it really is. And Turk Wendell continues to roll along, having given up just 1 hit, the home run, through the last 4 innings, and having given up just 4 hits in the ballgame. Into the last of the 6th, Zambrano, Jennings, and Shields against Baldwin, with Iowa leading by a count of 4-1. A reminder that the Atlanta Braves are making quite a run at the Giants, and they probably will be able to gain some ground tomorrow because they play the hapless San Diego Padres. Tune in WTBS at 3 o'clock for the final game of the series between the Braves and the Padres on WTBS and TCI.
I'm not so sure San Diego's payroll is not about the same as the Iowa Cubs.
It's right down there.
Jeez. What are those people thinking about?
How about that, 13-run first inning they had against the Cardinals the other night?
Well, if you're a season ticket out of San Diego, season ticket holder out of San Diego, how happy can you be right now?
Well, you gotta love baseball, don't you? Turk has wrapped his right arm in the towel, the same towel that he uses for all of his right arm wrapping, and he's ready to watch the Cubs bat here in the last of the 6th.
Well, he's getting a little water there. Going to get his toothbrush out. It's about time to brush. So he's got his toothbrush in his right hand.
Well, we mentioned it earlier. Turk's really been seen very prominently on a lot of national television shows because of his unique act.
Well, he's been on CNN was in here the other day.
Been on the front page on the Fox network, been on Current Affairs, the Today Show, and again, apparently he's been contacted by the Late Show with David Letterman for a postseason appearance. Why don't you go along, keep him out of trouble in New York City?
Oh, right.
Zambrano 0 for 2 has hit the left side both times, grounding to third and fouling to third.
Turk and I there are 2 radio stations, and I'm going to tell you what, I can't hear Turk's. He listens to a station that only he can hear.
1-2 the count. What's Zambrano's status as far as getting a call-up in September?
I got to think as soon as this is over with, he'll be in the outfield. I think there's probably anywhere from 7 to 8, maybe even 9 guys off this team. Well, 8 now that Brennan's already gone. But I got to think Traxel will get a call. Ilsley might get a call. Bully might get a call. See, that's 3. You got Zambrano, Rhodes, Wallback, Jennings. There's 7 guys right there. 8 with Brennan. Shields will go up.
Of course, the Cubs would like a winning record. They were a game below 500 going in today, but as far as where they are in the standings, not likely to climb up or fall down, really. So they may as well take a look at some of the outstanding talent here. Nice recovery by Cron on the high throw by Beltry. 1 out in the 6th.
First baseman, Doug Jennings.
And Baldwin continues to sail along after the rocky first.
And he's struggling up there at the plate a little bit. You know, that's one of those nice things with this team that, you know, he's got 2 or 3 other guys in the lineup that all of a sudden are picking him up.
Jennings, a strikeout and a walk.
Well, I think Turk will go up too.
It's a pretty full bench for September, isn't it? If that comes true.
Might have to get a little bigger charter flight.
The 0-1, and he gets under this one and pops it a mile high. Martine making the call. That was up there.
It's finally down.
9 in a row, retired by Baldwin. And here comes Tommy Shields, who hit a grand slam in the first for Iowa's 4 runs. Got to wonder about these guys like Jennings and Shields and what the future holds for them. Iowa, of course, Chicago trying to build with prospects, but yet sprinkling in veterans who would have provided insurance had the Cubs been in more of a pennant race, and have certainly provided a terrific year down here to get Chicago their first AAA division title since '72.
Well, that's one of the things that that they've done. They took a look at where they were in the minor leagues with the system that they had, the players that they had, and quite honestly, there was a lot of players that they would have had to have brought up to AA this year, or from AA to AAA to play this year, and they weren't ready. So they went out and put together a pretty good AAA team to give those kids another year of AA and bring them along slow.
Baldwin continues to sail. He retires the last 10 to face him, and through 6, it is Iowa 4 and Nashville 1. Turk Wendell works into the 7th, leading Nashville 4-1. He faces Joe Hall, Drew Denson, and Matt Murillo. Wendell has given up 1 run and 4 hits through the first 6 with 2 strikeouts and no base on balls. Line driver, look out. Strike 1. Again, game time tomorrow night for Game 5 in the championship series, 7 o'clock. Usually the Sunday games are at 6, but tomorrow a 7 o'clock game. Monday and Tuesday if needed, 7 o'clock games as well. Worthington bobbles it and has committed his 21st error of the year.
Well, that's somewhat of a routine. That might have taken a little bad hop, but that's a play Worthy's got to make. Just come up on him a little bit. He's still got to make the play. But you take a look at it from one standpoint, Turk got another ground ball.
Yeah.
Now, just what they need to do is turn a double play, and that way it'll just eliminate that.
Iowa has one of them already. Denson, and a good stop by Pedre.
That goes back to your stat of when the leadoff batter gets on base.
Scored 80% of the time this year against Turk Wendell. This is the first time the leadoff man has been on against him in the inning. Swing and a miss. Denson with 103 runs batted in. Third, Eddie Zambrano and Steve Balboni. Nice to see the Rangers give Balboni a shot. This could be 2. Smith, Shields, Jennings, and the Cubs have pulled off their second double play.
You remember 3 or 4 years ago we had the pork and beaners out there. We got the beans. That's Smitty. This is just picture perfect. Now take a look at what Hall does right there. Boom, he flattens Shields. Shields still gets the throw away.
2 away in the 7th for Matt Murillo, who won the league batting title at .332. Murillo has failed to hit the ball out of the infield tonight. It's grounded to second and grounded to first. He's a veteran, has been in the White Sox organization since signing back in 1986.
Was up the big leagues for a little while this year. Wow.
Hits it hard, but right to Jennings. No runs, no hits, an error, nobody left on base. The Cubs have pulled off 2 double plays tonight. Had the grand slam from Shields and made that stand up. And it's the 7th inning stretch. 4-1. Cubs lead. Look at my man Mackey lead the crowd in the singing of "Take Me Out to the Ballpark" on with Glenn Norman on the PA. Well done. Well done. And this huge crowd on a Saturday night in Des Moines really into the ball game, really into the singing to "Take Me Out to the Ballpark." They've seen a terrific performance by the home club as they try to take a commanding 3-1 lead in the best-of-7 American Association Championship Series. Chance, Worthington, and Pedre against Baldwin in the last of the 7th inning. You didn't throw anything out there, did you, Mackey?
No, no.
Oh,
Didn't fall out either.
Good for you.
With the help of Glenn Norman on the 7th inning stretch.
As far as the ticket prices for the playoffs, they range from $2 to $7. Again, 7 o'clock tomorrow night for Game 5. Jimmy Williams for Iowa, Steve Schwenk for Nashville.
Ticket prices are the same price as what they are in normal season, so they haven't raised the ticket prices one penny. So, you know, whatever you paid to come to a normal game during the course of the season, it's the same price here. The only thing, you can't use any of the rain checks that you had for the season. You can't use those in the playoff games.
Tony Chance 0 for 2. When you look at this crowd tonight for the playoffs and you realize and you think of all the work that a Kenny Grandquist and a Sam Burnaby put into this franchise to make this ballpark a reality, really got to warm their hearts. Yeah, Dick Easter's really got to warm their hearts.
Yeah, this is just really gratifying to see a crowd this size out here. And, you know, it's one of those that during the season you'll see a crowd like this, but there's some form of promotion or to get people. These are just walk-up fans and buy a ticket and come watch the ball game tonight.
Because they appreciate the fact that their club is in a World Series. Iowa finishing 3rd in the league in attendance this year to Buffalo and Louisville, 2 considerably bigger cities.
And the cities that trailed Iowa in attendance are considerably larger than than Des Moines is.
Joe Hall puts the squeeze on out number 1 in the 7th. Greg Worthington, completing his first year at Iowa, comes to the plate. Worthington 0 for 2 with a couple of infield groundouts. Worthington with his solid .273 season, perhaps one of the unsung heroes for Iowa this year.
He's been so steady over at third base. You know, you mentioned that with that error, that was his 21st of the season. He's an enigma over there because that play that he made the error on tonight looked like a fairly routine play over there. But you ought to see some of the plays that he makes during the course of the year. He can really flat pick it over at third base.
And Worthington cuts at the high hard one, and the count's a ball and a strike.
Who is that crowd in the next booth?
That's Neil Schultz, KGGO traffic reporter, Phil Wilson, KGGO program director, and their lovely wives, Lori and Cheryl.
I figured they had something to do with KGGO. I knew Phil was.
Pardon?
Strike 3 called. Worthington is out of there, and for Baldwin, it is strikeout number 3. Baldwin came into this game with 168 strikeouts this season, 105 in the Southern League level before getting promoted, and 61 at the AAA level. He's a strikeout pitcher, but tonight has not had the strikeout pitch going. Pedre hits a long way, but foul for strike one.
That's about where Tommy Shields hit the ball just before he hit the grand slam. That's George followed him on that one. Maybe he'll follow him with a home run on this one.
Pedre really set the tone for this game in the first inning. When there was a play at the plate, he knew that Hall was going to hit him and hit him hard. It was a tremendous collision. Pedre hung on for the out, and that really set the tone that Iowa was here and meant business and had the momentum and was about to keep it.
Absolutely, because so many times this year Iowa has had to come from behind. That's right below us. But they've had to come from behind on a situation like that where Turk gets the first two guys out, and all of a sudden the pitching breaks down, and they give up a run, maybe two, or they go on. The team will get a big inning. In this case, they got it stopped right there with a great play.
Pedre takes inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The only scoring by Iowa, last of the first, a 2-out grand slam by Tommy Shields. Nashville's only run, a 5th inning homer by Ron Coomer. Baldwin still throwing hard, strikes out 2 of the 3 that he faces in the 7th. And after 7, it's Iowa 4 and Nashville 1. The comfort of the Cub Club, one good place to watch this playoff game, but it's equally comfortable in the stands. Turk Wendell getting some divine inspiration, and after 2 not so good outings, Turk has really been on top of his ball game tonight. He makes the 3 crosses at the back of the mound prior to going to the mound for the inning. And those 3 crosses, a prayer for him to play to the best of his ability, to play injury-free, and to win. That's what he says the 3 stand for. Cron takes ball 1. Through 7, Wendell has struck out 2, walked none, had 2 double plays, help him out, has yielded 4 hits. Has 1 real mistake, the Coomer home run. And it's popped to the center of the diamond. It will be Worthington. 1 out in the 8th.
I'll tell you what, Marv Foley's not going to let this one get away, because he's got Vosburg and Bullinger down there playing catch with one another. They're not ready to get cranked up, but they're getting loose up there. And this is one of those that as soon as Turk shows anything a little bit shaky out there, you watch the bullpen start coming in.
This is for a 3-1 lead in the series if Iowa can hang on for 5 more outs with a 3-run lead. Coomer, Nashville's only offense. The home run is last at bat.
Are you going? And when you go.
Quite a year for young Ron Coomer, starting in Double-A, being called to Triple-A. He's hit better than 300 on both levels.
If Nashville was not there, you see, get a look at the bullpen. They're just out there playing catch, so it won't take them long to get warmed up. But if Nashville was not the opponent tonight, this would be a fun ball team to watch. But they're in the visitors' dugout, so they're not so fun anymore.
Not so fun. Past Worthington into left field. Coomer now 2 for 3, and that is the 5th base hit given up by Wendell. Coomer's on with 1 out in the 8th inning. Brad Comics will come to the plate.
Turk gets pitch up a little bit, and Coomer just pulls it over into left field. And it's the one good thing about that base hit. You move it over one side or the other, that's a ground out. So he's still got a little bit going for him, even though we are in the 8th inning.
Cubs have come up with 2 double plays behind Wendell. We'll look for number 3 as Pedre out to the mound.
Well, George has seen something that he didn't like with Turk, and George catches Turk quite a bit, and he knows what what Turk's got to be doing in order to get out. So he's out there. I mean, this just shows you what kind of quality catching that Iowa has. I mean, these guys, Matt Walbeck and George Pedre, like having coaches out on the field right now. He spotted something in Turk's delivery that he didn't like and went out there and tried to get it, hopefully get it corrected. It worked on that pitch.
1-1. Turk looks like he has a whole package of black licorice in his left cheek, doesn't he?
Well, Brock does a nice job of supplying it to him.
1-2.
How many ball players would even, I mean, to get a contract with Brock's for licorice?
You're right. He gets his toothbrushes free. And wait till he makes it in the big leagues. Endorsements are only beginning to roll in for Mr. Wendell.
Nice thing about it is no one has to. Some of those companies that make socks, they don't have to worry about it because Turk never wears socks.
He's not going to do that, is he? Wendell, 26, has struck out Cummings, and that's the third strikeout for Turk Wendell.
See, that to me is a classic example. Turk gives up the base hit. The next pitch, George didn't like it. Didn't like what he did with it. Went out, said, "Listen, straighten out whatever you're doing." They, talked with him, get it corrected, and everything else. Came back with the strikeout.
2 down for Scott Tedder. And it is ball 1 high, and the Cubs 8, the top of the order. Ramsey, Smith, and Rhodes. Trying to create a little insurance for Turk Wendell, who would love to get a complete game victory. And what would really be satisfying to him, Mackey, if he can hang on, is to go through the ballgame and not walk anybody. Wendell has 3 complete games. Strike. The success of these two franchises indicate good things for the Cubs and White Sox. A lot of prospects on both ball clubs. 1-2 pitch on the way. It's high.
The thing that's got to be really encouraging about for Chicago Cub fans is the guy that put these two franchises together is now with Chicago.
Yeah.
And by the way, Chicago, the White Sox AA team, Birmingham.
It's a shot to right, and that ball is going to get past Chance and into the corner. Coomer around third. This time he will be held up. Runners at second and third with 2 away. Beltre is up at the top of the order. It'll be interesting to see what Iowa will choose to do here, but right now the bullpen is quiet.
Gets a pitch in, and Tedder does a nice job. He pulls the ball down the line. This is a good play by Tony Chance to get the ball and get it back into the cutoff man. Greg Smith, you see him right there, because with 2 outs, the runner at first is going to be flying at the crack of the bat, and they kept him from scoring. And now all of a sudden you've got little activity down that bullpen.
And it's the closer, Dave Stevens, to the mound, and he just got up. Matt Walbeck just went out there, and to buy him some time, here comes Bill Early. Iowa pitching coach making his first visit to the mound to talk it over with Turk. Second and third, 2 down, 8th inning of a 4-1 ball game. Stevens is being promoted from AA. Been quite a closer. He has a 4-0 record and 4 saves. His earned run average a little high, but when you don't pitch very many innings, it doesn't take more than about 3 bad outings to raise it above the 4-run level.
Well, he's never been a closer until they brought him up to Iowa, and at that time Bully was up with the big club, so we didn't have a closer at that time. So they thought with Stevens, because he throws 91, 92 mile an hour, he brings the ball. They thought that they might make him a closer. So what they're doing right now with Bully coming back, they're using him as the closer and Stevens as the setup man for Bullinger.
Beltre, a tough out. Hit .292 in the regular season. He's hitting .319 with runners in scoring position where they are now. Chance a long run. Smith a long run. Chance is there. Makes the grab. Side out in the 8th. A threat by the Sounds, but it goes unanswered. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 left.
How good has Tony Chance played? How good does he play out there? Like I say, he is so steady. There's one off the Fitz. Beltre, it's one. Hopefully it drops in. Now watch Tony Chance. That's a tough play. You got 2 guys coming at you. You got a ball over the line. You've just run a 1.5 miles, and he still makes the catch.
And so the Cubs have a 3-run lead, 3 outs away from taking a 3-1 lead in the American Association Championship Series. Mar Foley, Bill Early walk in front of you, the manager and pitching coach respectively. They are awfully proud of what this ball club has accomplished this year. And it's a little bit late in the year for this, but the Chicago Cubs have suddenly got the hot hand and become one of the National League's hottest team. You can see them wrap up their series with the New York Mets tomorrow at 12:30. Comes to you from Shea Stadium on WGN and TCI Cablevision.
We talked about a good crowd tonight. Thought it might be 7,000, maybe 8,000. What's 9,049 do for you?
Sounds like a lot of people.
And 49 people. That's 2,000 more than Nashville put in their ballpark for 3 games.
You got it. And tomorrow night, Game 5, 7 o'clock, first pitch.
And nobody's leaving. You see people milling. They're just going to the concession stand. They want to come back to see this.
And they have been treated to a terrific ball game.
And the fans, I tell you what, hats off to the fans because they've been in this ball game. They have really enjoyed it. They have they've seen good defense. They've recognized good defensive plays out there. Like I say, the fans are every bit as into this as much as the players are right now.
Ramsey, Smith, and Rhodes against Baldwin. A couple of pitchers trying to go with complete games. But a big pitch by Wendell, as well as the play by Chance to get out of that threat.
Yeah, that's a great pitch. That pitch is in on Beltre. And, you know, hopefully, he tries to shear the bat off with it. But in this case, Beltre does a little inside out and bloops the ball, and Tony Chance makes the play.
Ramsey 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. He got on in the first inning to open the ball game. Prior to that, Shields grand slam, and I was going to have a base runner to open the 8th inning. Ramsey digs for second, and they may wave him around. Nope, he's going to hold up.
Don't want to make that out over third base. Double's good enough. He can score from there.
A double for Fernando. He had 30 of them in the regular season.
Fernando gets around on the ball, gets the top hand over and drives it hard down in the left center field. That's one of the things that he's had a little problem with as far as hitting is pulling the ball. But in this case, he gets top hand over, drives it out there, gets a stand-up double, brings up Greg Smith. Smitty, once again, get a little insurance run, going to try everything he can to get Fernando over to third base. You might see a bunt in this situation.
That's only Iowa's third hit and their first since the first inning. Strike called. And with that base hit, the Sounds have double barrel activity in their bullpen.
See, this is, this would take a grand slam basically if Iowa was to get this run, make it 5-1. And if you get Fernando over to third base, Carl Rhodes, Tuffy coming up, he's a good fly ball hitter. That's at least a sacrifice fly. That's a run.
0-2 in the Nashville bullpen. You saw the left-hander Fred Dabney. The right-hander is Mike Mangiello. Ramsey with a leadoff double, leads from second.
And Jim Bollinger starting to stretch it out there in the bullpen.
This could be trouble. Long run for 3 different players, and finally the left fielder Tedder is able to get there. Ramsey back to second, 1 out in the 8th.
Smitty didn't do his job on that one. Got to move that runner to third.
Carl Rhodes is 1 for 2 with an infield single, a walk, and a hard line out to the second baseman. Rhodes a .318 batting average, 4th best in the league, 30 home runs, 3rd best in the league, 89 runs batted in. Those his totals. Just joining Iowa in 35 ball games. He has 7 homers, 25 runs batted in, and a .320 average. So he took off the Omaha uniform, put on the Iowa uniform, and didn't break stride. Ball 1. And Rhodes down on the count, no balls and 2 strikes, or make it 1-1. Rhodes came up in the Houston organization, saw some action with the Astros in 88 ball games over a stretch of 3 years. Been around since '86. And it's 1-2 to Rhodes. Despite being around for that stretch of time since '86, Rhodes, who signed out of high school, only turned 25 last month.
Like I say, I think the Cubs have visions of Tuffy being a center fielder up there. They'd love to have him in center field, and yet it gives you Sosa, Roberson, Derek May, maybe even Eddie Zambrano.
Funny thing about if he were to get back to Chicago, that would be the site of his only 2 major league home runs, both in Wrigley Field, both off Mike Bilecki.
Real bad play up there in the skybox. That he's got to make that play, and he knows it.
One and 2 to Rose. 1 on, 1 out. Last of the 8th. Cubs lead 4-1. Two and 2. Nashville will have number 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the top of the 9th. The Cubs would like a little bit of insurance here with Ramsey with very good speed on at second. Count now full to Rhodes.
Well, they got 2 shots of insurance right now. They can get a run here or 2, but they still got Bullinger. That's their other insurance policy down the bullpen.
Payoff pitch.
Oops.
Strike called. Baldwin with his 5th strikeout. 2 down for Zambrano, who is due 0 for 3 in the game and 2 for 15 in the championship series. The league's MVP.
A pretty good spot for him to break out of this slump.
Martine, Hall, and Denson in the 9th stand between Iowa and a 3-1 lead in the championship series. Ball ripped hard but foul. $9,049.
Just a great crowd. Well, it even brought out the commissioner. Branch Rickey III is in the press box.
And got the bunting all around the ballpark. It really has been nicely dressed up for this championship series. Here's the 2-1. 2 and 2. Ramsey with a lead at second. And the appeal, and he did not go around. And the count 3 and 2. Doug Jennings on the on-deck circle if Zambrano can keep the last of the 8th going. And he does. The Cubs have some insurance. Here comes Ramsey home to score, make it a 5-1 game. And on his way to second with a stand-up double and his 116th RBI, Eddie Zambrano.
I'll tell you what, one of the reasons this guy is the MVP in this league. His home runs, every hit that he seems to get And every ball that he seems to drive in is important. I mean, you take a guy like Kevin McReynolds for the Kansas City Royals. Guy's got probably 2 home runs that are worth something. The rest of them are 2 out, no-brainers. Eddie Zambrano, his home runs have been big. I mean, there is a really big insurance run, and your MVP drove it in.
And with that hit, Baldwin will leave the ball game in favor of Fred Dabney. But James Baldwin, a rough first when he walked Ramsey and Smith. Rhodes got on with an infield single. Baldwin then got Zambrano to pop out and Jennings to strike out. Was that close to getting out of the inning when he made a mistake to Tommy Shields, who hit a grand slam. He did not give up another hit until this inning, when it was a leadoff double by Ramsey. Smith flew out. Rhodes called that on strikes. Zambrano doubles, and that chases Baldwin from the mound.
Well, I think you saw the middle 6 innings of the 7 2/3 that Baldwin pitched tonight. The middle 6 innings. That's the Baldwin that everyone expected to be out there. That's certainly the Baldwin that Iowa was having to look at. But fortunately, in the first inning, Iowa jumped on him for a 4-run lead. Marv Foley looks real calm right there, but he's got to be smiling.
Dabney with a 2-5 record and a 4.86 ERA.
You know, think about this. Marv gets fired by the organization he's played against right now, and he's got a chance to, you know, he wins the championship in '89 with the White Sox organization, and then a year and a half later they fire him. Now he's back playing against the White Sox organization. You don't think he isn't smiling if he wins this thing?
Oh yeah, sweet retribution, no question about it. Fred Dabney completing his first year on the AAA level out of Lawton, Oklahoma. On the mound with 2 down in the 8th inning, and Doug Jennings at the plate. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Well, there's no more money for winning a championship, but there's pride in a big ring that a lot of guys play a lot of years of professional athletics and never receive.
Never get.
Don't think it doesn't mean something to these players.
Whoa.
If I'm a left-handed batter, as Jennings is, I don't want to stand too close against this big side-arming left-hander.
Do you recall the All-Star game with John Kruk?
Yeah, yeah, too.
Randy Johnson up there, all 6'10" or 20 of him, whatever he is.
Oh yeah.
First pitch up over his head and up in the backstop. I think Kruk wanted to bat from the fungo circle from that point on.
He was out of there quick, wasn't he? Dabney 3 out of the strike zone against Jennings. Dabney 6'3", 190 pounds. And that's a lot of sidearm action coming at you. And he comes nowhere close on his first 4 pitches, and Jennings draws his second walk.
And probably lets off a real sigh of relief. I'm glad I don't have to try to do something with that.
And here comes Rick Rennick. So Dabney may have been brought in only to face the left-hander. Mangiello still warming up in the bullpen, and that's going to be it. So 4 pitches, 1 walk, and the left-hander is lifted. With the next 5 batters in the Iowa lineup, right-handers, they'll bring on the right-hander.
A little different look with managers in this short championship series and what you'd normally see in the middle of the season.
Mike Mangiello comes on. Mangiello a 6-4 record and a 4.25 earned run average with 7 saves. And he becomes the 3rd Nashville pitcher. Iowa leads at 5-1 in the last of the 8th inning. Be interesting to see if Turk will come out for the 9th.
Well, he's going to have to because nobody's been throwing in the bullpen.
That's true. Although I would think Stevens might already have completed him, but
now,
he hasn't been up there for a while, has he?
You won't see Stevens. You're going to see
Bullinger.
You're going to see Bullinger.
So with a 4-run lead, Wendell will be given an opportunity to wrap this one up himself. One reason that the Cubs would really like to wrap up this series, I would think, tomorrow is that they would have to face Rodney Bolton in the Monday game, and Bolton was 10-1 in the regular season and also was the league's top earned run average pitcher at 288. So you got the feeling the Cubs would like to deliver a stunning blow here, then knock out tomorrow and not have to face Bolton.
Plus Bolton was a winning pitcher in the first game of the series. Bolton is tough. I mean, he is tough. He went up to the big club and it was up with the White Sox. I think it was like 2-4 or 2-6 when he went up to Chicago. But he's been outstanding here at AAA.
Tommy Shields 1 for 3, but that one a grand slam homer. Zambrano at second, Jennings at first, 2 down in the 8th inning. 1 run already in, and Iowa leading 5-1. Wind is picked up a bit, blowing out left field. And it's flared foul to even the count at a ball and a strike. Again, Martine, Hall, and Denson, batters 2, 3, and 4. 2 up for Nashville in the 9th. Cubs with at least a 4-run pad, and Shields trying to add to it. Mackey will have a post-game interview when all is said and done tonight. 1-2 to Shields. Might it be this guy?
Might not. Might be a pitcher.
Might be a pitcher. And he'd be a fun guy to hang around and listen for. Well, we may find out soon. At any rate, Shields fans against the reliever Mangiello. And 8 innings are in the books. The Cubs picking up a run here in the 8th inning. 2 base hits and 2 left. It's on to the 9th. The Cubs trying to take a 3-1 lead in the American Championship Series. And they lead Nashville 5-1.
Turk.
9,049, hoping that Turk Wendell can come up with 3 more outs and give the Iowa Cubs a 3-1 lead in the best-of-7 American Association Championship Series. Paco Martin opens things up for Nashville in the 9th. He is 0 for 3. Martin, a top 10 hitter during the regular season, 6 of 16 in the playoffs. His .309 average, good for 6th place. Ball 1.
Turk's got to be a little pumped up right now. You got to settle down. There you go.
Oh, nice pitch. Martin nowhere close. Sometimes you want your pitchers to come up with some adrenaline late, and you want Turk to maybe filter a little of his out.
Turk, you took the adrenaline. Turk's got half this, spread it around amongst the fans here. Half this crowd would be up flying around.
I tell you, with Turk's nervous energy, he's about the last guy in the world I would want to sit next to, say, on a 3-hour airplane flight someplace. I don't know how he'd handle it. Martin down on the count, or make it even in the count, 2-2. Nashville won the first game, but Iowa has come back to win the next 2.
Well, they had the love that get 2 victories down in Nashville. Especially the way it started, getting beat 12-3 in the first game.
Turned out not to be a tone setter, though.
Throw that slider down. Not down there.
No, not that far down. 3-2.
Well, Bully is up in the bullpen for real right now.
He's making the mitt pop. And Wendell, who badly wants to complete game, loses Martine to open the 9th inning. That is the first walk that Turk Wendell has given up.
Center fielder Joe Hall.
And that might be a sign.
Now they got Vosberg up, because we got left-handers coming up after.
Well, there's one anyway in Murillo. A couple of right-handers in Hall and Denson first. Hall 1 for 3, on with an error his last time at bat, on with a first inning single, and he cuts and misses for strike 1.
The crowd is just up on every pitch.
Kind of salute Des Moines. They have taken this American Association World Series and are treating it like a World Series. Strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes to Hall. Cubs have pulled off 2 double plays behind Wendell. Looking at number 3 right here. And it's still 0-2 to Hall. Turk Wendell trying for his 11th win of the year, trying for his 4th complete game. Flared foul. And dropped in one of the booths just off to our right. He had been in the one occupied by Steve Carroll, the former Iowa Cubs broadcaster, who now broadcasts for Nashville. The appeal, he did not go around. That's 1 ball and 2 strikes, and it was a nice stop by Pedre. You get the feeling that if Wendell loses Hall, that he will be done. Vosberg and Bullinger, the left-hander and right-hander respectively, continue heating up for Iowa. Hall chases what is strike 3, but he's going to be on the wild pitch. So Hall goes after a bad pitch, gets to first base anyway. First and second, nobody down. Denson to the plate with great long ball potential. He hit 24 homers and drove in 103 in the regular season. And no move from the dugout yet. But Jennings over to maybe buy a little more time. Denson 1 for 3, a double, flew out and grounded into a double play. Foley's going to let Wendell work to at least 1 more. Strike 1. Because first base was occupied, Hall, of course, not allowed to take first base, so that is the first down in the inning, that strikeout. And, of course, he ran down to first, but then they waved him off because the runner on at first, you can't take a base on that wild pitch situation on the strikeout. So there is 1 out with Martine advancing to second on the strikeout and pass ball. After Denson, who was 3rd in the league in RBIs, comes Murillo, who led the league in hitting, so it doesn't get a lot easier. But the Cubs now 2 outs away from securing a victory.
Come on, Big Daddy!
A timeout call for a moment. One of the balls got away from the bullpen down the left field line, just as Turk was ready to work. Ball hit to center. Ramsey's got it sighted. He will make the grab, and back to second goes Paco Martine. The crowd roars. The Cubs run out away from taking a 3-1 lead in the Association Championship Series. And the crowd is on their feet, all 9,049 of them, on their feet. What a great, enthusiastic crowd it has been. Murillo 0 for 3. Look at this standing ovation for the Iowa Cubs. And Pedre doing a terrific job as Wendell getting tired and his control getting off, and Pedre has been all over back there, keeping the ball from going past. An Iowa team that won a franchise record 85 in the regular season, going for their 88th this season. 2-0. And you know how much a complete game would mean to Turk Wendell, especially after not getting past the third in his last 2 starts. Long drive to right field. Rhodes back. And that ball will be against the fence. 1 run comes home. To second base goes Murillo, and it is a 5-2 ball game. A double off the top of the right field fence for Matt Murillo. Now 5-2. Chris Cron to the plate. And still no move out of the Iowa dugout as the pitch to the outside part of the plate, but Turk got it up. And Murillo was able to turn on the ball and pull it. Chance all the way back to the boards and then had to play it right off the very top of the fence. So Turk will stay on. The Cubs with a 3-run lead. Nashville down to their last out. Cron a single, a ground out, and a pop out. And they remain on their feet. All 9,049 of them, and very few people have left. Ball 1. Crowd's into it on every pitch. Two and 0. Not only does this crowd want an Iowa win, they sense how badly Turk wants to finish it, and they want a Turk complete game if at all possible. You know he's tired as he tries to regain some composure. The 2-0. Pedre off with the mask, but we'll run out of room, and the count 2-1. Murillo at second has been replaced by a pinch runner. Doug Brady has come in to run for him. 2-1 pitch to Cron. Chance with a run towards the line. He's got room. He's there. He makes the grab and the Cubs win. Wendell, the complete game victory. The Cubs go up 3-1 in the Association Championship Series. A complete game victory for number 11, Turk Wendell. He's 1-0 on the playoffs, his 11th win of the year. And he pitches the Iowa Cubs into a situation where if they can win one of the next 3 ball games, they will wear the crown in the American Association. 5-2 the final score. And is that a happy group of Cubs who, after losing the opener in Nashville, have now won 3 in a row and are poised for a run at the championship in tomorrow night's 7 o'clock game. Turk Wendell, 2 balls and 1 strike. The count to Chris Cron. Cron hitting to the opposite field, bloops it off the end of his bat. Chance, who made an earlier similar play, streaks towards the line. He now knows he's got it, and there it is. And the Cubs are a win away from a championship. Iowa only 4 base hits tonight, but one of them a first inning grand slam by Shields. They made it stand up. The Lions score: Iowa 5 runs, 4 hits, 1 error, and 4 left. Nashville 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors, and 4 left. The starters are the pitchers of record. Wendell gets the win. Baldwin gets the loss. And in the Sounds dugout, the realization they've got a long way to come back if they're to capture the American Association Championship, because the Iowa Cubs walk off the field tonight with a 3-1 series advantage. And just read the smiles on Worthington and Ramsey, Zambrano, and the group as they go out. Big win for the Iowa Cubs. The pivotal game, perhaps, in a 2-1 series. You can take a 3-1 lead, then you're in an excellent position, and that's exactly where the Iowa Cubs are right now. 3 wins, 1 loss in the best-of-7 American Association Championship Series, and an opportunity to wrap it up tomorrow night. Jimmy Williams will be on the mound. He'll have the chance to do that. Turk Wendell and Dick McDonald now getting ready for their post-game comments. And I'll tell you what, the way Turk pitched tonight, he may be sky high as he normally is. He's a terrific young guy. Tonight he pitched a terrific ball game. Gave up only 1 walk, that not until the 9th inning. He struck out 4, but again will be most satisfied by the fact that he only walked 1. Gives up 7 hits, 2 runs, strikes out 4, walks 1, gets a complete game victory, his 4th complete game of the year. 5 runs, 4 hits, an error, and 4 left for Iowa. The runs that mattered came in the 1st inning. Ramsey walked, Stoll second. Smith walked, Rhodes an infield single, bases loaded. But then Zambrano fouled out, Jennings struck out, and then Shields popped a big home run, and that was the difference in the ball game. Iowa didn't score again till the 8th, but they didn't need it. 5-2 the final score. Turk Wendell, Dick McDonald, and others now standing by. Mackey, take it away.
Dick McDonald along with Turk Wendell, tonight's winning pitcher, and what an outing tonight.
Well, I had a pretty good stuff. I was spotting my balls fairly decently, and thank God I had a great team behind me tonight.
That's pretty good defense. That first inning, that the play at the plate, that kind of set the tone for the ball game, didn't it?
Yeah, that did. That pretty much put a spark in our team, and you know, we came out there starting pitching, which we thought was going to be their plus to the whole series. Has been on the downside. You know, they're walking a lot of guys, and we're capitalizing on it. Luckily, we got the job done with 2 outs in the first.
It looks like really through the whole game, other than the double in the first inning and the home run, you were in total control tonight. You got a lot of ground balls.
Yeah, I made some pretty good pitches when I had to, and a couple times I didn't make good pitches. When, especially the 9th inning to Murillo, that fastball was 2-0. I just kind of laid it in there, but good hitters like himself are going to capitalize on that.
It's nice to have a 5-1 lead when that happens too.
You can do that when you have a 5-run lead, a 4-run lead.
This has got to be a grateful start for you tonight, because the last 2 starts you had a little shaky out there. You struggled and so on. Now you come back, and this is just, to me, this is just a great start. A start for you. Only 1 walk tonight.
Yeah. Matt Franco had a prediction before the game, and I kid you not, it was a 6-1, 7 runs, 7 hits I'd give up with 1 walk, and he come in the 8th inning and said, "Hey, you only got 1 more hit and you got to walk a guy." Come on, Matty, let's go.
Don't need that, do you, right that time?
But you know, I made some bad pitches and got away with them tonight too. But the Coomer home run, he hit a ball low and down over the middle of the plate. That's his power zone.
One of the things you got to be really happy for tonight. Like I say, we got the play at the plate. We got 2 double plays behind you. Even when you do get, something goes off just a little bit, you've got good defense back there. Tony Chance with a play in right field over there in the 8th inning.
Excellent jumps on the ball. I mean, you got to tip your hat to that guy. He's got a lot of talent. Doesn't get to play that much, but when he does, he makes a definite impact.
What's the feeling being up 3-1 right now?
Oh, it's a great feeling. I'm getting my size up now on my finger.
Turk, great game tonight. You're probably wondering who these 2 are. These are Mike Andreessen's 2 kids, the groundskeeper up there. This is kind of like their big brother up here, and that's their man. Larry, back up to you. 3-1 Iowa.
All right, Mackey. 3-1 Iowa indeed. Cubs can wrap it up tomorrow. 7 o'clock will be game time. Great crowd on hand tonight. Great in size and great in enthusiasm. And what a show they saw. Turk Wendell, of the 27 outs he recorded, there were 10 ground ball outs. He also struck out 4, so that shows you what kind of control he had tonight and didn't walk anybody until the 9th inning. After a couple of rough outings, to come back in a championship series and throw the way he did, that 26-year-old right-hander's got to feel awfully good. Tommy Shields, the big blow, the grand slam in the first inning, that was really all the Turk needed as Iowa wins by a score of 5-2. 3-1, the Cubs lead in the American Association Championship Series. They could wrap it up tomorrow night. If they don't, Game 6 Monday night at 7 o'clock. If a 7th game is needed, it will be Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow, Jimmy Williams pitches for the Iowa Cubs, the young left-hander who came up mid-season from Orlando, a chance to give the Cubs a division championship and an American Association championship. What a great year it's been for Iowa Cubs baseball. It's been a great pleasure for the TCI crew to bring it your way. For Dick McDonald, this is Larry Morgan at Sec Taylor Stadium, where a crowd of better than 9,000 watched the Cubs take a 3-1 lead in the American Association Championship Series by beating the Nashville Sounds 5-2. Good night, everyone.